The cross-eyed.
Feel cross-eyed.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
I feel like you and I haven't recorded one together in a while.
So much so that we're being so awkward. We don't even know what to do with ourselves.
That's not what I was gonna say, but sure.
Just kidding.
I feel like we should announce that after this episode, we're gonna take a break from the podcast for the summertime, and then we'll be back in the fall. Which, what?
I was just gonna say I'm kind of excited about that because we can really take some time to think about what we really want to talk about and come back hot in the fall.
Yeah, we'd also love to hear from you all in
Boom.
terms of what topics you want to hear about too.
Yeah,
Or
that would actually
what,
be really helpful too.
yeah, or what you want more of, or
Less
I don't
of.
know, or what topics you what episodes you'd like the most.
Mhm.
Yeah, any feedback that you have for us to strategize on before we restart in the fall, let us know.
And if you want to come on and talk with us, we'll keep doing the real parent talk, guest talk experts.
If that's what people want.
Yeah, that's true. Well, those are some of our most popular listened to episodes.
Right.
The real mom talks on sleep.
Yep.
It's a big one.
Or it's just because it's a topic on sleep.
That's probably it right there.
But we figured since this is our last episode going into the summertime and it'll air the Sunday of when you are listening to this, it's the Sunday before Memorial Day. We thought we would just talk about, some of our summer plans and how our summer plans and or traveling with kids has sort of evolved over the years. And then some of our favorite products that we've always used and or will continue to use, or new products that we're using.
Yeah, like the go-to stuff that we use every summer when traveling.
Yes.
Yes.
Should we just go in chronological order here? You
Yeah.
have your trip booked first?
Yes, well, you do travel without your kids often, and you did check that box recently.
My go-to.
I would say though we should highlight that because your go-to is
I travel without
your kids.
I travel without my
Let's
kids.
start there.
I travel without my kids more than I travel with my kids.
There's a method to the madness. It makes a lot of sense.
Sure does. So much so that only one of my kids has ever been on a plane, and it's my oldest, and she was on a plane when she was 4 months old. She's never been on a plane since. The other two have never been on a plane, period. So much so that we talked to them about going to Disney next year, and they initially were like, yeah, and then my 8-year-old was like, how do we get there? I was like, we fly, and she was like, never mind, I'm all set.
Never mind, I don't want to go.
Yeah. Which maybe I'm up to something here, I don't know, but yeah, so much so that maybe I've caused a problem on the other end. But it's funny because
I'll have my kids give her a pep talk.
I know that you traveled as a kid, but
going on,
and we definitely traveled too, but we weren't jet setting as kids at age fucking 4.
We drove a lot.
My husband wasn't even on a plane. I don't even think for the first time until he was 15 or 16.
Yeah, I feel like flying was super expensive when we were little kids,
right.
And we had a minivan and.
Right.
But we drove a lot. We drove from Pennsylvania to Virginia to North Carolina, long car rides.
We didn't do that. We only drove to New York to visit family, and we went to Disney as kids. But my husband's family was JC's family. They drove from Rhode Island to Disney. That was I
always tell my kids, I'm back in the day, we didn't have iPads or radios or
radio
in silence.
When were you jaunting around
I just
the
don't
country?
remember having anything to do with the car.
Radios.
We just sat and looked out the window.
There was cassette tapes and some CDs. We used to listen to Paula Abdul cassette tapes.
My Grace always goes though. Back in the day, did you have this and that?
Oh my god. Anyway, mine and my husband's go-to. We try and get away we shoot for about once a quarter, probably ends up being 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Usually just long weekends. We just did a longer trip for our anniversary a few weeks ago, but yeah, we go away. Just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that is our go-to. Significantly more than traveling with our kids.
Yeah.
But yes, so you're right, that is an important thing.
Mhm.
And then I don't fuck around when I go on vacation either with
Well,
my
no, I
kids.
think we should talk about the aspect of like what we do when we travel to make it smooth sailing for the most part. Like, I feel like you don't fuck around in the sense that you have like blackout curtains and you stick to your bedtime routine and you like make sure your kids all have their own bedroom to sleep in. Or like, for the most
I
part.
don't know how you envision what my vacation looks like,
Looks
but like
glamorous.
what you just described and what happens in reality are slightly different things.
You make it look
This just
good.
goes to show like what we think about people and what
Instagram
actually
versus
happens
reality.
in reality. Yeah, I mean, I can talk about what is important to me when I travel with my kids if you want me to.
Sure.
But that has evolved. Like, this is something that's evolved. Where like when I traveled with my kids when they were younger, call it like, you know, even just a few years ago, my oldest was like 5 or 6, and then it was, you know, the 4 or 5-year-old, and then the, I don't know, whatever, 2 or 3-year-old. You know, and younger, I when we traveled, I didn't screw around with our bedtime routine. Like, that was really important to me. You and I have talked about this in the podcast before.
Right.
It was, but I want to be really clear, and I think this is the part where like a lot of people don't necessarily do this, is like that was always a conscious decision, and there's a trade-off for it, right? Like, it was a conscious decision for me to not screw up bedtime and the bedtime routine, because I didn't want to deal with the wrath of whatever the fuck they were going to do the next day.
Especially if you're at like a beach whining on
Right.
the beach and it's hot
Right.
and yeah, no thanks.
Also, what has changed in terms of like related to expectations right now, first of all, I didn't go into my first vacation with kids with this mentality of like, I'm going to consciously make the choice to stick. I mean, I consciously made the choice to stick to my bedtime routine.
Right.
Not because I didn't want to deal with the wrath of it, more so because like I felt like that was important for our family. But then what I realized the more I traveled with our kids is that like the first 2 nights anywhere are like kind of a shit show. Like, you know, harder to go down at night. They're waking up super early. Like, it takes them a couple days to fall into a routine regardless. And that has evolved. Where like, I know that one of my kids is probably going to be up between 5 and 5:30. The first 1 or 2 nights that we're there.
Brutal.
And like, that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
But as long as I can, like, I go into it with that expectation, I don't go into it with the expectation of my kid is gonna sleep until
magically
7 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, no fucking way. Right?
Yeah, no.
I was just saying this to a client. It must have been on the message board on Nurture. It was on the message board on Nurture. She wrote in a question, a few different questions, but one of them was, I've been traveling with my kid recently. I think she has let's call it like a 10-month-old. And she was like, whenever we travel, the first night in the pack and play, when we travel, is a disaster. And when we come home, the first night back is a disaster.
Yep.
What can I do to make it better?
Nothing.
And I was like, listen,
nothing.
I'm like, I know that you want me to give you a magic solution to this problem, but the solution is actually resetting your expectations.
Yeah.
To the first night on vacation is going to be a disaster, and the first night home is going to be a disaster.
Right.
And go into it with that expectation, knowing that there's going to be some crying.
Yep.
And knowing that after the first night, you're good. Everything's back to normal. But like, nothing's wrong that happens, and there's nothing you can really do about it because it's your kid's way of adjusting. And eventually it'll get better. It's not going to be like that their whole life.
Totally.
When I like my youngest used to cry the first 2 nights, every single time we traveled. I had to put her in the pack and play. She would scream. I'd have to let her scream, and then she would figure it out.
Poor Camilla.
Yeah, poor Camilla.
Poor Camilla.
Yeah.
This is why I travel with my family, because somebody's always up at 5:30 a.m. Usually my dad.
Even when I traveled with my family, nobody got up with my
If
kid.
anyone's chirping in the early morning on vacation, like my dad swoops in and gets them, takes them right down.
That's a nice person.
I know. It's nice.
But anyway, I just think there's a piece of it where like
just setting your expectations.
The thing that you have the most control over is your own expectations.
Yeah, I mean, this comes up frequently with people who are traveling far, like, or in a time change, or out of the country, and like that you need even more than a day to adjust. Like, you've got to give them several days to adjust when you get there, and then I always say at least a week when you get back.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes 2, depending on the time change.
Yeah.
Right, totally.
But the trade-off is you get to go do something fun.
Right.
You know, you don't have to be a prisoner in your home. You can go live your life. You just have to reset your expectations.
Totally.
You're going to be a little out of schedule.
Like you and I have talked about this, right? Because like when my kids were younger, I was really I don't want to say strict, but strict, sure. It was important for me for them to have the same bedtime
Comparatively to me, probably strict.
And the trade-off was I didn't want to deal with the bullshit the next day, right? But right, that was the reason I was making the decision. But the trade-off was like we were back at the house or wherever we were staying at 6:30 or 7 o'clock every night, and so like there wasn't a lot of flexibility there.
Yeah.
Right. Versus like, and now that my kids are older, I push their bedtime big time. Like we'll stay out. They still go to bed around 7:30. And we're on vacation now. 8:30, 9.
I feel like everyone should know that, like, our older kids, like, significantly have evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eloise, though, I've got to still stick in the window.
Right.
I could push her by, like, 30 minutes, maybe 60 minutes.
But even in making that decision,
yeah,
sometimes my older kids will sleep in later. Like Kate and sorry, not my older kids. My kids will sleep in later. Like Kate and Camilla can sleep in later. Yeah. But Mackenzie's still up. She goes to bed at 9 p.m.
Right.
She's still up at 6:30 the next day.
That's how Eloise is. It doesn't matter how late I wake up. She's up. She's up.
Right. And then at some point she's gonna melt down the next day. So it is way more a conversation around like the give and take and understanding that when making one decision, you're also making a decision about something else.
Yeah.
And so I mean I think that's what I've learned most about traveling with my kids is to be really intentional about those decisions and actually like communicate them to your partner. So like if we stay out late, I'm like, JC, we can stay out late. I'm cool doing that.
My age, we can do this, but the next day when they're melting down, I'm like, well, we did this.
Right.
This will get frustrated. I'm like, well, we did this to them. Like when they're having a temper tantrum.
Right. Right.
It's our fault.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I think that's the most important thing when thinking about the summertime and wanting more flexibility in your schedule and traveling with kids. Like the way you have the most control over is your expectations and then how you respond to the decisions that you make.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Oh my God. How about last summer when my mom took my kids to the neighbor's pool party?
Yeah.
We were in North Carolina and my mom was like, the neighbors are having a party. I want to take the kids. And I'm like, sure. And I'm thinking like, she'll be back for bedtime. And the one thing I said on the way out the door was like, I don't want them to play with firecrackers, like the sticks. They just freak me out.
Yeah, they're not firecrackers.
I just have this memory.
They're sprinklers. They're sparklers.
I have this memory of like my sister being burned as a child with them. And then all of a sudden it was 9 o'clock and my kids were still not home. And I was like, oh my God, where are they? And I get a picture to the family text thread from my dad of my kids still at this party at the neighbor's house holding sparklers. And I was like, ooh. But you know what?
That sounds on brand.
They came back at like 9:30. It was the latest they'd ever stayed up in their lives. Yeah. And at that point, the sparklers were done.
Yeah.
The photo had happened, had come in. And I was like, okay, there's nothing I can do about it.
By the time the photo got sent to you, the sparkler was already.
My kids had the time of their life.
Not sure.
Like they came in so happy. Yeah. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'm to bed at like 10.
Fine.
Full sparklers.
Right.
But it's good I was reintroduced to sparklers because now I realize they're not
everybody gets burned by a sparkler.
As I thought, and they're not, not everybody gets burnt.
Yeah.
And we went on to do them again. Yeah. So it was fine.
That's not one of my top fears.
Like, no sparklers. You can keep them out till 9 and feed them whatever you want. No sparklers.
Do you want to talk about flying? You just mentioned
I feel like we should talk about flying. We get so many questions about it, and I fly often enough with my kids. Yeah.
I mean, you fly at least every summer with them.
Every summer, yeah. So, and now I feel like I have the big kids and the babies. So I can give like my split advice because how I would fly with a baby is different from with moving kids that move.
I would never get on a plane with a kid
dude, I am
age.
So in for it this summer because Eloise isn't 2 yet.
Yeah.
And so my husband refuses to buy her own seat.
I mean, it doesn't even matter if she has her own seat. It's going to be ridiculous. Like
if she
there is no greater hell that I can imagine than traveling on a plane with an 18-month-old.
No, it's going to suck. But here's the thing. anyone listening, if you can afford the seat, or your partner will be a cheapskate and will buy you the seat.
What is this
If
costing?
I was in a seat for Eloise, I would bring the car seat on.
Oh, you put her in.
And I would put her in the car seat just like the car
Right.
and contain her.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm screwed because
No, I know.
I'm gonna sit with Grace or Maddie and AJ's gonna sit with the other one, and we're gonna be passing Eloise back and forth, and she is not gonna sit still.
No.
I'm gonna let her watch Coco Melon, like cracked out, eyes bleeding, Coco Melon the whole flight, like as much of it as she wants.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
But like the trouble with the 18-month-old is they just want to run up and down the aisles. Cause I've been through it with Grace and Maddie. Like they don't want to sit on your lap.
No.
They're not a lap infant anymore, a lap baby.
Right.
They're like an animal in a cage trying to escape.
Right. And the cage is the plane.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm not looking forward to that. So first recommendation, if you can afford the seat, get the seat, bring your car seat on, put them in the car seat just like it's car ride.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm doing. Because we're just saving some money.
Even if you have the seat, I'm not trying to scare the shit out of people. I've never flown with an 18-month-old. I would never subject myself to such torture. Talk about strategic decisions. But even when you have a seat, there's like, it's not like, I know you're gonna give her Coco Melon and she's unique and that she watches it, but like, that's not typical.
Loves.
It's like, that's not typical. It's not like you're gonna give them a toy that their attention span is like 37 seconds.
No, I know. I mean, when my kids were little and we were flying, I would always, and I still do this as they get bigger, but your ticket or not your ticket, your key here is to have like a couple things that are new and interesting.
Yeah.
So I would get like a couple small baby toys, that are annoying, like the baby Einstein stuff that light up and make noise, like something that's new and interesting. And then for the big girls, I'll go to the dollar store now and I'll get like coloring books, a pack of crayons, like an activity book, like something that they've never seen before.
Yeah.
And so I just bring on activities that are new and interesting.
Yeah.
It's obviously easier now that they like devices because I can give them, they had Kindle Fires and now they have iPads, and I'll load it up with new games or new videos or something that they can watch. Babies, like infants or babies in the first year that aren't mobile, I don't mind flying with them because I wear them in a carrier.
Yeah.
And I just wear them onto the plane and I would breastfeed them or bottle feed them, and then like they would fall asleep.
Right.
It's that middle zone that's tricky.
Yeah.
So anyway, bring shit on that's new and interesting. I learned my lesson.
If there's it depends when you're traveling, but like I also like the tip of like a toy that they really like or have liked in the past, or like even the iPad, put it away for the months leading up to when you travel.
Yeah, we're not having any iPads.
So then when you like take it out,
it's exciting again.
It's exciting again. We'll use it for a while. Like I do like that tip.
Yeah. I mean, I learned my lesson the hard way flying once. So that is that if you can wear your baby in a carrier, then you can check your stroller and wear your baby through.
Right.
But if they're too big to be worn, I would highly recommend having an umbrella stroller or some kind of stroller for the airport. Because once I went through the gates without a stroller, and we had a 6-hour delay. And so AJ and I were walking up the airport with Maddie, trying to get her to fall asleep, holding her. And then when she fell asleep, we were like sat at the gate holding her. And it sucked. I also ran out of diapers on that trip because of the 6-hour delay. That I don't worry about as much because there's always another parent traveling.
Totally.
And so like some other mom at the gate gave me a diaper. But
right.
Anyway, when you get to the airport, check your car seats right away, because you can check anything and everything right away. Like get rid of as much shit as you can. And the airlines will check your car seat and your stroller for free. So you can like walk in and get rid of all that right away, or you can gate check.
Right.
But so
like you can bring your car, like especially the infant car seats, going through, bring that through with your stroller to the gate, and then gate check it.
Right.
Or there are some airlines, like you've gotten onto airlines where you didn't pay for the extra seat, but there was an open seat and then you brought the car seat.
Yeah, that was when Grace was like an infant. I had my bucket and the lady was so nice. And she was like, there's extra seats if you want to just bring her on. Yeah. That was like the best.
And then you just put her in the car seat and she slept. Yeah.
But you want like free arms. You want to get rid of as much stuff as possible. And you're not supposed to do this, but when I check my car seats, when I go to North Carolina, they don't check the bag as long as it's not too heavy. So I put all my diapers and wipes in there for the trip.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then I wear a backpack because, You want to be able to have your arms free. So I'll bring a backpack on of all the kids' stuff.
Did you see the kudos post the other day with Moira? She highlighted, did you see that backpack that she travels with?
No, I
Do
didn't.
you know what I'm talking about? So on the Kudos Instagram, Moira is one of the women who works for Kudos. She just also happens to be somebody who we know through Naps. And it was this backpack. So it was a backpack, but it looked like a duffel bag. And it had like 4 or 5 different compartments that were different colors.
Ooh.
So like you unzipped it. So like a set, like the way that I would use it is like each pocket would be a kid's stuff.
A kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I could do that.
It was really cool.
Now I make them wear their backpacks.
Right. No, I know, but I was
just making Eloise wear one too.
Or like if you're traveling, like each compartment could be like a thing.
Snacks,
like, correct.
diapers, wipes.
Correct.
Bottles, sippy cups, or
correct.
toys. Yeah, I like that.
It was this bag was really cool. It was like this random bag that she found on Amazon, but I was like, oh, I can see how that works. Like extra change of clothes, like whatever. This is such a cool
bring
thing.
an extra set of clothes for the baby and for you, because one time I went through and had an extra set of clothes for the baby, but not for me, and I got puked on, so I had to wear the puke shirt the whole flight.
Yeah, gross.
Anyway, those might be my best travel tips for the plane.
For the plane.
Yep. Yeah, have a stroller when you go through. You can walk up and down the gates if you have a delay.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I don't fly with my children. I can give you plenty of tips.
As you know,
I can give you plenty of tips for flying without your children, meaning like getting over the fear and guilt and whatever like anxiety you have around.
Oh yeah, if you're like trying to travel without your kids and you feel guilty about it, book a 30-minute call with Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be skipping to that airplane and whistling on the way up and down.
Sure will. Or at the very least on the way home when you actually have the time away.
Yeah.
No, I feel like with most of our vacations obviously being places that we drive to, we like pack a lot of stuff and bring it with us. I mean, I have like some go-to stuff that I've been using since the kids were
I feel like we use the same stuff.
Yeah. So like I am obsessed with the Four Moms Pack and Play.
Love that thing.
I am obsessed with it because it's so big. Like my kids slept in that pack and play until they were all 4.
Yeah.
And wanted to.
It's easy to open and close. It's just so I've had mine for almost 8 years. 8 years. Yeah.
Same.
That thing does not give out. It is sturdy.
No.
Yeah.
My kids still play with like
it is quite spacious. It's really
it's huge.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I think that's why I like it so much. And maybe people would be like deterred from getting it because it's so big.
No, but you can put a 5-year-old.
But like I like literally came with
Maddie would sleep in it if I asked her to.
No, so
if I needed her to. Yeah.
No, I asked to sleep in it sometimes too when she like sleeps in my closet.
Let her live.
But yeah, like truly, I've had 4-year-olds in that thing and I love it. Like that is something I've always traveled with. I bring the sound machines with us.
Hush. I like the Hush sound machine.
I just bring my Marpack.
Yeah. So I like the Hush because it's the purple dome and it has a little hook on it. So when I drive, if I'm driving to Philly or doing a long car ride, I'll hook it to the car seat, turn it on if I want, someone to fall asleep.
You're gonna have car seat people coming at you.
I don't care. Come get me. Come get me. Come for me. Driving for 8 years, twice a year, 6 hours down, 6 hours back. You know what else they come after me for is I let my kids fall asleep and I fucking drive.
Yeah.
Like to get where I'm going.
That is true. I would actually like Emily Oster. If
Emily Oster,
somebody
please
wants to send this to her.
Research.
I love the research on that one. Especially after her article on like obviously nothing's, her article around like nothing's safe. Like if we start looking at parenting choices as like risks and benefits because nothing comes without any risk. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Like that is an example of one. Anyway. Moving on, tangent. Yeah, the Four Moms Pack and Play is my fave. I just bring the Marpack sound machine, my big one. I don't have the portable one. I just have a pack of blackout shades in my closet. I usually order them in packs of 6.
Yeah.
So I always just have them just in case.
Can I get one? I need one for Eloise's laundry room situation.
Order it yourself. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, you can have one. I like those blackout shades because we can link some of the stuff in the notes too, but I like those blackout shades because you can just cut them to the size.
Measure the window,
So
scissors, cut, or
that is what I do.
You use a knife.
I mean, I use a syringe knife. They got absolutely smoked.
She put up a reel traveling of the blackout shades. And cut them with a knife
on a counter. Smoked.
No cutting board.
Yeah.
And the people
were pissed.
The trolls came for her.
But anyway, so I
cutting on a
those.
counter with no cutting board. It's somebody's Airbnb. Could have been your home, actually.
Yeah, it could have been.
Could have been my home.
Yeah, could have been. It wasn't an Airbnb, but yeah. Anyway, please rent me your home.
Go find that reel. It's so funny.
So I take those shades, I measure them in the window, and then I cut them. I actually have now started just using scissors to cut them because it's easier.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then I have usually like painter's tape that I will just paint with on the windows.
Some of
yeah,
my clients use aluminum foil.
You use aluminum foil.
Yeah.
You can use black trash bags, and
I use brown paper bags.
those don't work. Don't do that. That didn't work. You sent me a picture and it was so bright. Like, please do not listen to her. That did not work.
So remember my dad. I
know. It did.
Brown paper bags.
See through. That didn't work. Anyway, so yeah, you can
double it up the layers.
Okay. So those are things that I've been using since my kids were little. Other things that I've always used since, like, I have a picture of Kate in a Snapper Rock long sleeve bathing suit.
Yeah.
With the one time I traveled with her when she was 4 months old, and I had used Snapper Rock bathing suits ever since. Really, because one, like, they're the SPV 50, like the protection from the sun. Proof, and I use the same bathing suit for all 3 kids. Like,
yep,
they last a long time.
They last forever.
Plus I just, the woman who runs the company is fucking awesome. It's a New Zealand based company.
So I love it because my girls have dry skin, and the sunscreen is very irritating, especially if your kids have eczema, because Maddie gets it in her arms here.
Yeah.
But I get the long sleeve bathing suits, and they have cute little shorts.
Yeah.
So then it's just less skin that you have to apply sunscreen to.
How I feel
it's
too.
So nice.
Right. Like, I love the long sleeve bathing suits because it's less sunscreen application.
Yeah.
But if you do need to apply sunscreen, so I've like gone through a lot of sunscreen because Mackenzie has really sensitive skin. And like by far my 2 favorite sunscreens are Blue Lizard and Think Baby.
Yep.
Blue Lizard has, I've been using Blue Lizard more just because they have like the stick that I'll use for the kids' faces.
They have a spray too.
And they have a spray now too.
Yeah. And it's lotion though when you spray it.
Yes.
So doesn't burn the skin or irritate it.
Yeah.
It is white. And I found it at TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
They did it, Blue Lizard did a deal.
That's also an Australian, I think they're an Australian brand too. Australian or New Zealand, but I think Australian. So anyway, I just like, those are just products that I've always used that I've loved.
Yeah.
That are, really important when it comes to, especially like the sun safety. Recently, one of my favorite new summer products.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear what this is.
I got you one, is the Boggs bag.
Oh, you got me 2.
Oh yeah, I got you 2.
You got me 2 bags. Small one and a big one.
I
love that bag.
With the Boggs bags. So they're basically like, I don't know what the material is. Silicone, rubber, what is it?
It feels like rubber.
Anyway, if you have not seen these bags,
awesome.
You can get a bunch of different sizes. I got the biggest one. I use it as a beach bag or like, in the winter time, bring it to the pool. And I love the material because you can literally, if there's sand, you just like dump it out, or you can hose it down, right? Yep. And then if it gets wet, like it just dries.
Yeah.
And then they have these pockets that are like waterproof. So if you want to put like your
phone in it. They make cup holders for it now.
They do.
I was up in Maine last weekend at the store, probably where you got it. And they made cup holders that hook on the outside.
Shut the fuck up.
I know, I gotta get you one.
Yeah, I want one.
Yeah. The store wasn't open. They were in the window and I was like, oh my God, cup holders for the bag.
These bags are awesome.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are like some of my those are the things that I always travel with. I'm trying to think if there's anything.
I got beach tents for you guys. Beach tents.
Yeah. There's a beach tent that
so for babies or crawlers, I'm really excited for this summer, by the way, because last summer Eloise could crawl, but she couldn't walk. And she was on 2 naps, morning nap and afternoon nap. So it kind of like sucked going to the beach all summer. Like it was a jam up for me.
Right.
So, but anyway, for the kids that need to be contained, Summer Infant makes a beach tent that's a circle. And you open it and it also has a sunshade over it. So I loved it for Eloise because I would put her in it at the beach and throw all the toys in it. And even my big kids would climb in with her and stuff. And it just kept her really entertained and contained because she didn't want to crawl in the sand all over the beach. Anyway, love this thing. So easy to to set up too, and she would nap in it, which was great. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Use the Bob strollers kind of
I
better
know,
for a
that's-
beach
I
night.
use the
I
stroller
love the
when
Bob
I'm sure.
stroller. Anyway, and then for kids and adults, what is it? Pool cabanas? We might have to look this up. Pool cabanas. What's that tent that I have? It's so, people come up to me on
I
the
have a
beach
different one.
all the time and ask me what it is. And they think I work for them because I'm like, this is how you open it. So when you pop it open, the sides, the 4 walls, you just shovel sand into
Right.
the walls, and it's just so easy to open and shut. I was on the beach one summer, like very pregnant, opening it and assembling it. And
Yeah.
someone came up to me and
Yeah.
I was like, if I can put it together pregnant, I should work for these people. I'm telling you, I've probably sold so many of their tents.
Yeah.
I think it's Cool Cabanas. Cool Cabanas.
I don't know.
We gotta look it up.
You can look it
Anyway,
up. Yeah.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. You just reminded me too, the other thing that I use, especially here in Southie, like in the city, where I can just like walk down to the beach, like I don't want to pack up my car to go down to the beach, like to
No,
drive down.
The wagon.
Right, so
Oh my
what I
God,
do is
What you're about to say.
the wagon. I have the Evenflo wagon. I fucking love this thing.
I have one too. It's so awesome.
Yeah, like you just like you can switch the handle so you can pull it like a wagon or push it like a stroller. So I always just push it. But like I will pack up the wagon. I buckle beach chairs to the handle, put my Boggs bag in, put the beach toys in.
Yeah.
If the kids want chairs, I'll put chairs in the wagon. And then like one, if it's all packed up, one kid can fit in. So maybe they have to like, switch out.
Yeah. Or scooter.
Right, or scoot down to the beach and then I bring that to the beach and I push it right onto the beach. I love that fucking thing.
Yeah, Cool Cabana, just confirming on your phone.
Oh, that's the one you
I
like.
love this
Gotcha.
thing.
Yeah.
Cool
But
Cabana,
yeah.
I wanna work for you.
But yeah, the Evenflo wagon's awesome. And you can fold it up. Like if you want
Yeah.
to travel with it, you can fold it up. It's like
Yeah.
the size of a stroller
Yeah.
and bring it with you on vacation. And then like honestly, like it's essentially, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still a wagon, so it's a little bit bigger than a stroller, but like
Mhm.
you could bring that in place of a stroller.
Oh,
if you
yeah,
have older kids,
100%.
like and just push
100%.
that around wherever you're going.
Yeah,
And then it serves a dual purpose of being able to bring it to the beach.
Yeah. Final pearls for me would be if you're doing a long car ride.
I mean, I have a pearl for people that I'll give at the end.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have a travel potty. OXO makes one.
Yeah.
It folds open and shut really easy. It comes with a really nice bag, and then it has bags that you line the potty with.
Yeah.
And so I just love that because if I'm driving and one of the kids has to go to the bathroom, I don't know, especially with 3 kids in the car, or if I'm alone, and then take all 3 kids into the rest stop. So I can just open up the potty and they
Yeah.
can use it if I pull over in the car, like in the parking lot. So I really love that travel potty. And then I always make a bag for the kids that stays up front near me of diapers, wipes, extra clothes or pajamas, snacks, like things that I need. And again, learned that the hard way because I drove once. I just packed everything and I didn't pull out anything extra. So like when I had to pull over, I was rummaging through my trunk on the side of the highway, through bags, like looking for like what I needed for the kids. And I was like, why did I do this to myself? Yeah. And then I already said I take the sound machine in the car.
Yeah.
I always double diaper the baby or the kids when they were in diapers, if I'm driving a long time and if they're going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Because the worst is if they pee and like pee too much and it leaks through and then they get wet.
Yeah.
So.
I think my pearl, which I talk about frequently, is I get a babysitter when I travel.
I thought you were gonna circle back to that you just travel without your
travel
kids.
without my
That's
kids.
her pearl.
And then when I
Oh,
travel
yeah.
with my kids, I hire a babysitter wherever I go.
I didn't used to do this and I smartened up on your advice and it's awesome.
I mean,
Yeah. It's fun.
people are gonna judge me and I don't give a flying fuck. Because like when, first of all, I don't travel with my kids. And then when I do travel with my kids, like the more I travel with my kids, the more babysitters I hire. So like
Our
last
kids
summer-
love babysitters.
No, I know.
They get
They're
so
happy because they get so
excited. Yeah.
So like last year, we were away for a week, we did like a Saturday to Saturday rental and I had a babysitter come, I think 3 times. And did like 2 date nights and then 1 like day date. And we did like 12:30 to 6:30 or like whatever it was. I think we tried to miss bedtime. I don't know if we did. But yeah, and like that it's it makes the vacation so fun.
You just said though you were away
So
for a
much-
full week and you had someone come 3
I
times.
mean, I'm fucking with you.
For,
2
like,
of them were like only for
2
like 2
days
hours.
and a day
Yeah.
trip,
No.
like.
I don't care. I would have a babysitter come every day. I want to be clear about where I stand if people want to judge me for it. Like,
Listen,
I
we're
will
rich
still,
and famous.
it
I
won't
will
stop
hire
me from
someone
hiring.
to travel with us and watch our kids.
You're saying us, like
24/7.
we're gonna travel.
Oh
together.
yeah, 100%. We're gonna travel together all the time.
No, we will not.
Yes, we will.
Also, we don't have to be
Yes,
rich
we
and
will.
famous to do that, so if we were gonna do that, we could have already done.
I
it
was
by now.
thinking like private jet, like the Kardashians, they'd probably bring like multiple nannies to watch all those kids. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Sure, I don't think I need that. I'm pretty solid without my travel right now, but thanks for the offer. My kids would have to fly in order for that plan to work.
Yeah, so
And
we're
I'm
back to,
not putting them on a private plane, I can tell you that right now. It's not gonna be the way they travel. Anyway, that's what we got for you. I feel like that's pretty solid.
I
episode
really hope
going
we
into
help
the summer.
somebody out there.
If nothing else, travel without your kids. And manage your expectations when you do travel with them. That's really the point here.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we'll miss you guys this summer.
I know. Have a fun
But we
summer.
hope you have a fun summer. Let us know, give us any feedback about the podcast, so that we can
We'll keep you
come in hot and football.
updated on our travels via Instagram.
Yeah, we can do
When I
that.
hit that plane with the animal toddler running up and down the aisle.
That should be, special. Yeah. And we'll see you guys in the
Yeah.
fall.
We'll be back.
All right.
See you soon.
Bye, everybody.